Some people enter your life like a promise, but leave like a lesson. At first, everything feels meaningful. Their words seem sincere, their presence feels comforting, and their attention makes you believe that something real is beginning. You start to trust them, slowly but deeply, and you allow yourself to imagine a future where they stay. But over time, something changes. The tone shifts, the effort fades, and the warmth you once felt becomes cold and distant. You begin to question yourself. You wonder what you did wrong, why things are no longer the same, and whether you could have done something differently to make them stay. This is where the pain begins, not only because of what they did, but because of what you believed. It is difficult to accept that some people were never meant to stay in your life. We often hold on to the idea that every connection must have a long-term purpose, that every relationship should grow into something lasting and meaningful. However, the truth is more complex. Some people are not meant to build a future with you. They are meant to reveal something within you, often through discomfort, confusion, or even heartbreak. Their role is not to complete your story, but to challenge your understanding of yourself and the world around you. Pain in this context is not just an emotional reaction. It becomes a form of communication. It tells you that something is not aligned, that your expectations and reality are not matching. When someone hurts you, it forces you to look deeper. You start to recognize patterns you ignored before. Maybe you trusted too quickly. Maybe you accepted less than you deserved. Or maybe you were trying to see the good in someone who is not ready to treat you well. These realizations are not easy to face, but they are necessary for growth. There is also a certain kind of attachment that makes these situations even more painful. It is the attachment to potential. You do not fall in love with who the person truly is, but with who you believe they could become. You imagine their future actions, their future kindness, their future commitment. You hold on to moments when they showed care, and you use those moments as proof that they are capable of more. But potential is not reality. And staying because of potential often leads to disappointment because you are investing in something that may never exist. When someone leaves you with pain, it is natural to feel anger. You may feel that they wasted your time, your energy, and your emotions. You may even feel betrayed, especially if they once made promises they could not keep. But over time, that anger can transform into understanding. Not necessarily understanding of their actions, but understanding of your own experience. You begin to see that the pain itself carries meaning. It shows you your limits, your needs, and your values. It teaches you what you are no longer willing to tolerate. One of the most important lessons in these experiences is learning to set boundaries. Pain often appears when boundaries are weak or unclear. You might have allowed someone to cross emotional lines because you did not want to lose them. You might have ignored red flags because you hoped things would improve. But when the relationship ends, you are left with a clearer vision. You realize that protecting your peace is more important than keeping someone who does not respect you. This lesson, although learned through pain, becomes a powerful tool for your future relationships. Another lesson is the understanding of self-worth. When someone treats you poorly, it can make you question your value. You may start to believe that you are not enough, that you are difficult to love, or that you always end up being hurt. But this is not the truth. The way someone treats you often reflects their own limitations, not your worth. People who are not ready, not mature, or not emotionally available will struggle to treat others well. Their actions are a reflection of their own state, not a measure of your value. However, recognizing this is not immediate. It takes time to separate your identity from the pain you experienced. At first, everything feels personal. Every word they said, every action they took, seems like evidence against you. But slowly, as you gain distance, you begin to see the situation more clearly. You understand that you were simply in a connection that was not right for you. And sometimes, that realization is enough to start healing. There is also a quiet strength that develops from these experiences. Pain changes you, but not always in negative ways. It makes you more aware, more careful, and more intentional. You begin to choose differently. You listen more closely to your intuition. You pay attention to how people treat you, not just what they say. You stop trying to convince others to stay, and instead, you focus on whether they deserve to be in your life. This shift is subtle, but it is powerful. It is important to remember that pain does not mean failure. Just because a relationship ends badly does not mean it was meaningless. Every experience, even the painful ones, contributes to your growth. They shape your understanding of love, trust, and connection. They prepare you for something better, even if you cannot see it immediately. In a way, these people are teachers. Not because they intended to teach you, but because their actions forced you to learn. Letting go of someone who hurt you is not easy. There are memories that still feel real, moments that still bring emotion, and questions that may never have clear answers. But letting go is not about forgetting. It is about accepting what happened and choosing to move forward without carrying the same weight. It is about recognizing that holding on to pain only extends its presence in your life. Sometimes, we wish we could go back and change things. We imagine different choices, different conversations, or different outcomes. But the past cannot be rewritten. What you can change is how you understand it. Instead of seeing it as something that broke you, you can see it as something that shaped you. Instead of asking why it happened to you, you can ask what it taught you. This shift in perspective does not erase the pain, but it gives it purpose. There is also a certain kind of peace that comes from acceptance. When you stop trying to find reasons for someone's behavior, when you stop expecting explanations that may never come, you free yourself from constant questioning. You accept that not everything will make sense, and that is okay. Some people leave without closure, without clear endings, and without apologies. But your healing does not depend on their understanding. It depends on your ability to move forward. In the end, some people were only meant to teach you pain. Not because you deserved it, but because you needed to learn something that could not be understood in any other way. Pain has a way of reaching deeper than words. It stays with you, it changes your perspective, and it forces you to grow. And although it may take time, you will eventually see that the experience was not just about loss. It was about transformation. You will become someone who understands their value more clearly. Someone who sets boundaries without fear. Someone who recognizes genuine care and does not settle for less. And most importantly, someone who no longer confuses intensity with love or attention with commitment. One day, you will look back at the people who hurt you, and instead of feeling anger or sadness, you will feel a quiet sense of gratitude. Not for the pain itself, but for what it revealed. Because without those experiences, you might still be repeating the same patterns, making the same choices, and accepting the same treatment. And that is the hidden truth. Some people are not meant to stay. They are meant to awaken you.